What's going on, everybody? This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian. I want to first of all wish everybody a bom dia, a good morning, and I hope you guys had, how can I say this? Bom dormir, good sleep, good rest last night, and I hope you guys are having a good day thus far. I was driving, and I actually wasn't going to make a video, but until tomorrow, but I thought about something today, and I thought about the whole George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, that whole dynamic. I say thank God accountability was held. I don't know if I can say justice was served. I'll say accountability was held, meaning that he didn't get away with being accountable for his actions, right? Justice would have been other people probably stepping in, or him being brought to accountability prior to meeting George Floyd. I just have this thing where I just feel like, and I know a lot of police officers, good police officers, I do, and a lot of them have these two things. They have this thing where they pay attention to detail. It's almost like borderline suspicion. And so when they see or hear something, they might see and hear something a little bit deeper than, like, say, just something surface. It's what you say, it's how you say it, it's your mannerisms, it's they have this sense of recall. And I said all that to say, I'm sure that, well, I just wonder, I'll say it that way, if other officers on the department knew how aggressive he was, because my understanding is, and I could be wrong, he had like a lot of complaints against him, which as an officer, sometimes people will complain just, even if you're doing what's right. So even with that, that's kind of but it seems as though, in his case, where there's smoke, there was eventually fire, and, unfortunately someone lost their lives behind that. But I thought about, the conversations that I've been hearing about people, obviously, when such situations like this happen, everything that is in the wheelhouse of, the overreach of authority is being, having that spotlight put on it. And so some people are, beginning to be a little bit paranoid and, just downright afraid to leave their houses and go out into society, especially when they see a police officer, or a car get behind them. I know sometimes, I will admit, depending on where I am or what time of day or night it is, there are times where I've found myself clutching the steering wheel a little bit tighter, hoping that the officer is either a good officer or just completely passes by me. And 9 times out of 10, they just pass by. They're just, from going from one place to the other, and you just happen to be in the same direction, going in the same direction. And but there are certain times where I was like something I heard Rich Price say a long time ago. When sometimes when an officer would get behind him, he started thinking of stuff he did in the 6th grade. I've been guilty of that as well. But I guess my thing is, I don't want people, and I'm preaching to the choir, I don't want people to allow what's being reported ad nauseum, seemingly, to kind of stifle them and marginalize them and just plain stop them from living life. Because true enough, there are officers who abuse their authority, but then there are a lot of officers who are just downright good people. And it's you hope that you always run across someone who will see the humanity when they look at you and treat you with the respect and honor the oath that they took to serve and protect, right? Or protect and serve, depending on how you say it. But so many times heard a lot of people, they're saying, they're thinking, they're moving in a way where the very thing that they don't want, it seems as though it's like they're attracting it to them, you know. And this isn't like in the wheelhouse of positive thinking. Yeah, well, I guess it can kind of be construed as that, but picture this. I'll give you a perfect analogy, right? An example. Same thing. Have you ever tried to gather leaves or cut grass, mulch or whatever with a leaf blower? Now, for the advanced leaf blowers, they have like two, I guess, I wouldn't say sections, but two levels. Like they'll have a blowing level and they'll have a suction level, right? When you go after these leaves, like if you want to gather them and you want them to stay in a certain area, sometimes you might blow in this area to kind of corral them, right? To put them in like one central location, and then after that you can suck them up, right? Or either, you know, you could just kind of do it the manual way with a broom or a rake or, you know, whatever, dustpan. And you know, you can make your job easier that way, right? But some people, how they live life is this: the very things that they don't want, they turn on the suction level. And so as they travel throughout life, they say it, they think it, they look for it, and the very things that they don't want, it tends to be always in their purview. Like it tends to be always in their sights or in their vicinity or coming or in their life. And then the very things that they don't want, they attract. The very things that they do want, sometimes they go toward those things. They're pessimistic, they think negative, and they behave like they have they prepare for things not to be the way that they want. So it's like they go toward the leaves with the blower on. And the closer they get, they're constantly being negative, and the very things that they want, they're pushing away. And then they complain about, I just have bad luck, nothing has happened for me. Now again, you know, some people might call it positive thinking or whatever, but there are people that I know who are successful, you know, me included to some degree. And there's a common theme, and that theme is this: I always knew that I would achieve some level of success. I'll get that later. I always knew that I would achieve some level of success. So I went towards what I wanted. I looked for it, and I constantly had the right things coming out of my mouth. And before you know it, I achieved the very things that it is that I wanted. And oftentimes it's in a greater degree than what I had thought, but I constantly went after those things. And so I just say this: if you want the dog, don't call the cat. If you want something good, think it, say it. Again, call it positive thinking, whatever you call it, but go after it. Be optimistic, or cautiously optimistic if you're not, you know, certain or whatever, but go after it nonetheless. But if you find yourself constantly getting what you don't want, monitor what you think, monitor what you say, monitor the people that you're around, monitor your level of monitor your how pessimistic you are versus how optimistic you are, how positive versus how negative. Monitor those things. And it could very well be that you might be to some degree, you know, engineering your own failure. So I said all of that to say this: don't allow what has been said in the news and as unfortunate as a lot of these events are, to stifle you and stop you from getting out into society, living your life, and in a lot of cases just going after what you want. You know, we have to act as a community of one. want something, we go after it. And if you have to go outside, which I know you do, and there's a little apprehension, just do it anyway. I heard somebody say a long time ago, if you find yourself wrestling between wanting something and the fear of what you want stopping you, do it afraid. Just do it, like Nike said, right? In any event, this is your man Larry, the American Brazilian. I didn't mean to ramble. I was getting phone calls and everything in the process of making this video, so I'm going to have to make those calls, because I think they're important. Well, all calls are important. Anyway, in any event, rather, I will talk to you guys on the next one. Até logo e até breve. Tenha dia abençoado. This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian. É verdade.